I'm here to talk to you about Zia Martial Arts.
There's rumors in the Twitter sphere.
Kind of on the topic for today.
Love a roll on the mat.
On the mats.
Say on the mat tonight.
On the mat.
Go on the mats.
On the mat. On the mat.
So glad you could make it out tonight.
I really appreciate y'all bringing me on the show.
Good to go.
Oh, yeah!
All right, Katie, thank you so much. I mean, we had a conversation earlier. It was awesome. You're such a pro, so thank you for keeping me in line and ready.
Listen, I love these podcasts so much, and I always get so excited. I'm like, all right, what are we going over? I don't know if you've seen the different types of people, but I'm definitely a type A person when it comes to stuff like this. So I like to have everything organized and drawn out.
We're talking Blue Belt Bash today, right? And we kind of went over some stuff earlier, but I want to just reiterate that. I mean, you were there last time. This is going to be our third event in total. This is going to be our second event that's not in-house. So you were there at the first Rumble, right, in January?
Yes, I was.
Yeah, and we got some great pictures. That was a real small event, just us and Otero, but it was an awesome kind of way to feel out how the event would go and if it would be, enjoyable for people, for participants, and for spectators.
It was a nice kind of trial run. Because it's always nice to have that sort of in the gym because it's comfortable. You get to get a feeling. So you're precisely right. I think a lot of people really enjoyed it too. There's something about having a little bit more of a confined space that really gets the crowd going.
Yes, so the environment, the venue really matters. And we were very lucky and fortunate to find a venue in the Blue Moon, which is a great little spot if anybody hasn't been out there. I don't know if you remember in May, I was trying to get the second Rumble going in May so bad, and things kind of fell through as far as the venue, and we had to postpone it till September.
Yeah, and I think it ended up working out so well because the Blue Moon is just such a great group of people and are so willing to work with us. And I know the venue you had been looking at for May just seemed like they had such a crazy back and forth going on. And with the Blue Moon, you can tell that they love to support the people that are working with them.
Yeah. So we're really happy to have them to be invited over there back again to run this back. And so I wanted to kind of get your thoughts on the first event at the Blue Moon that we had in September, Zia Rumble 2. You were there shooting, obviously. What are some of the things that you liked, and what are some of the things that you're looking forward to in this upcoming event at the end of January?
I think one of the best things for sure was just the amount of people that came out and supported. It was just a really great atmosphere, especially for being the second event. I would say, maybe I'm just a little biased with this, but I think it was super well run. And you can just tell that there was a lot of, it's so close, right? We have people sitting basically right at the edge of the ring, and that really helps the athletes get going. I know that one of the kiddos from Zia was really pumped up, and so that was really cool. Just the interactions and feeling super close to the crowd. And overall, the Blue Moon, again, great host. It was nice to have food and drinks. You were out a little bit in the sun, and so being able to have that as well was really stellar.
Yeah, outdoor events are really awesome, and you've shot a couple EBIs, and we've gone to see just about all of them that have come through El Paso, and it's really cool to have an outdoor grappling venue.
Oh yeah, it's one of those things where you're not sure if you're going to be able to do it outdoors, and there's something about almost being in the elements that brings it up a notch. One of the EBIs I shot at was actually raining at the time, which was really cool too because you get the cool water effect in all those pictures. But just being outside, it's just so nice, especially for the athletes.
Yeah, and so what people get a lot of times when we talk about martial arts or jiu-jitsu competitions in particular is you get the kind of stuff that's at a convention center or at a high school gym, there's nothing wrong with that, but I love the feel of this, how there's emphasis put on, particular matches. People have somewhere to sit and eat and drink, which is always a good thing. And you don't get that at a lot of other events.
100%. And I think that, again, it brings in that interaction to jiu-jitsu itself. I know a lot of people have been talking about like jujitsu possibly going into the Olympics, right? And bringing in all of those outside people that may not be so close to jujitsu. And I think the outdoor venues and like events like these really help with that too, because it brings in that element of like, I want to go watch this for entertainment, not just to support my fighters. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. And so before the second Zia Rumble, we hadn't had a live grappling event in many years. I think it was like 6 years. I was a white belt the last time I think it was Combat Sports Club came down here, and so that ended a long drought of live grappling as far as jiu-jitsu goes in Las Cruces. And so I'm glad that we had such a good outcome that a lot of people asked us to do it again, and that's why we're running it back.
That's stellar to hear. And I'm glad to hear that Cruises is like seeing what we're doing. I think that having people come out is really cool for the smaller athletes and the athletes that are trying to get out there a little bit more. Like knowing that you can kind of draw a crowd is always a great feeling.
Yeah, the crowd really makes it. One you could hear the crowd going. You could tell that it was that the participants were really drawing off of that, and that's the point. We want to highlight these people work so hard, they train hard, and we want everybody to have fun at this event. Um, Now,
Absolutely.
that being said, it was our first event, so there were some bumps in the road. And I know I was very open to taking, feedback, constructive criticism as far as, how can we make this event even better the next time? What are the things that we can make sure to focus on and improve the experience next time around?
I love to hear that. And I think that there was a few things that I saw, and just again, like being a photographer, I get to kind of hear the crowd and hear what they're saying. And I know one thing that you and I were speaking about that I'm excited to say that we're having updated is the reffing. We had a lot of questions with the refereeing, and so I'm super excited that we've adjusted how that's going on. Because that was something that there were a few questions for. And for me personally, I know that that's something I'm excited that we've improved this next go round.
Yeah, and personally, I'll honestly say I completely underestimated, how much goes into that. So anytime you see refs at Naga, at Grappling Industries, man, they've got a really tough job. And I've been guilty at a couple of events of getting a little bit too excited and really giving the referees a lot of grief. But they really do have a tough job out there, and they end up taking the brunt of most of that sometimes.
For sure. I think that especially seeing a lot of these different events that go around, the refs are in the interesting position of not only do they have to keep people safe, they have to kind of keep people happy.
Yes, yeah.
And that can be a little difficult, especially when you're dealing with parents of young kiddos.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. But I'm happy to say, I appreciate the work that everybody did coming out, all the volunteers, referees, the people on the edge of the mat, that were helping, people that were helping coach. I think we're going to be much better prepared this time. We're going to have, our coaches are going to be able to focus and dedicate on coaching their team, and I'm honestly very excited to be refing because this is a project that's really close to my heart. The referee is like in the middle of the action, so I'm very excited. I had fun with Professor Sampson on the mic doing some commentary, and he's always a ball. But that's another really cool thing about me stepping on the mat to ref is that it opens up a spot for other people to get on the mic for commentary and paint a colorful picture for maybe some of the people who struggle or want to have explained what's going on as the action is happening.
Absolutely. And out of curiosity, who do we have on the mic this go round? I know you said that Sam is going to be doing it. Who else do we have?
Oh yeah, so we're bringing in Leonard Ellison, he's a Rumble veteran already. He's got 2 Rumbles under his belt. Not very many people can say that, and he's going to be joining us on the mic with Professor Sampson doing commentary again, which is another great part about this event is because like you go to the tournament bracket style events, and everybody's just kind of watching, and for the family members who aren't as familiar with jiu-jitsu, it really helps to have someone kind of telling you what's going on, giving some color commentary, and adding that perspective to the grappling match for someone who may not be as familiar.
I love that. And you're absolutely right. I think that a lot of times you get these parents that come and they don't really know what they're looking at. They just know that they're supporting their kiddos. So having that there, and also it kind of fills in the dead space because occasionally, you have those things where you're like, it's whatever. And I know for sure Samson enjoys filling any quiet moments that happen to happen.
I'm super excited for this. When we talked about it, I was nervous. I didn't know how Samson was going to come out, but he was a complete professional. He took notes and he practiced and like really rehearsed for his part, and I thought he killed it. He knocked it out of the park.
Oh, absolutely. And that actually brings up something that I kind of wanted to go over here. Since we're talking about refereeing and we're talking about, making people familiar with the unfamiliar, do you think we might be able to kind of give a layout of what this Zia Rumble is going to look like this go round, kind of like rules, how the brackets are set up, et cetera, et cetera?
Yeah, that's great. Thank you for bringing that up because I know a lot of this stuff is new, and it's going to take some time for people to really become familiar with the match types and the different rules. But I'm very excited because we're going to roll out the Blue Belt Bash, which is a 16-person bracketed tournament, single elimination. Winner gets the championship belt and $250. And so that's really cool because we're moving from the Rumble event, which I really liked and I thought went really well in September. But that's even though that's our flagship event, it's not going to be the only match style that we bring. We really want to mix it up for people. So we have the 16-person single elimination blue belt tournament, which is going to be great.
Awesome. And I think with the single elimination too, it'll probably keep us a little bit closer to that time that we were looking at last time. I know that was something that people brought up was like, oh man, the time went a little long, and it's because the kiddos brackets were double elimination. So I think that's going to be super helpful too, as far as like staying along with the time and making sure that all the competitors get enough time on the mats.
Yeah, I think everybody had a really great time, but like we had mentioned, like when we spoke earlier, we really want to keep it to around that 3.5 hour mark, so that way it doesn't drag on too long. I'm very glad though that everyone supported. We had everybody stayed out until the end of the matches. We had a great response from the crowd and from the participants. But yeah, the single elimination is going to help us make sure that we don't go too long this time.
Love that. So we have the 16-man blue belt bracket. What else do we have going on?
We've got tag team fights coming up, which this is another very new thing. You've seen this in some promotions, so I'm very excited to roll this out. And our tag team is going to be, very unique because this is very new as far as the competitions for jiu-jitsu go. So we have three teams. We've got our Zia team with Manser and Scoob. Manser is a blue belt at Zia. Really, really tough guy coming in about 200 pounds. And Stephen Ginn, Scoob, who's coming in at 185. He's a Zia purple belt. And man, I'm really excited to see these two team up because they have such unique styles of jiu-jitsu.
That is going to be really cool. They definitely have really interesting styles and they're very unique to themselves. So seeing them like team up together is going to be cool to see. Who are the other two teams?
Yeah, so we still have one spot open, so there's still time enough for one more team to jump in. But we do have two more teams signed up. One from El Paso and Briggs Academy with Xavier Martin and Edgar. I think it's Pimentel. I apologize if I don't pronounce that right, but I've had the pleasure of watching Xavier compete for a couple years now, and he has always put on a fantastic show, always very fun to watch, energetic, very good wrestler, very good jiu-jitsu. So I'm excited to see this team coming out of Briggs. Briggs always sends some tough, tough guys.
Briggs is one of those, man, where I'm like, if they're there, it's going to be a really good show.
Absolutely. Like there was, I think 10th Planet a year or two ago had a quintet or like a four. I think it was a 4 versus 4 team matches, and the Briggs team was so tough, man. They went out there, and it's going to be a long day when those guys are in your bracket. So we got them coming, but we also got a team coming down from Albuquerque in Team Invictus, and they're coming in, weighing in at about Oh man, just over the 370 mark. The total for the tag teams originally was 350 pounds combined weight, but it was just really hard to find people at that weight. So we went and adjusted it to 400 pounds. And man, that means that we are in for some really, really cool jujitsu when we let these teams give them a little bit more wiggle room in that combined weight category.
That is going to be super exciting to see. I when you had told me that we were switching up the weight categories, I was pretty excited to see it because I feel like there's so many people that can come at a healthy walking weight too, as opposed to having to cut a lot. So that kind of makes me excited as well.
Yeah, and that's another thing that we want to do is we want to remain unique as far as competitions go. And you see a lot of the bracket style, matching weight, matching experience, but you can already tell we've leaned a lot towards the absolute brackets, just because it's a great show. It doesn't matter, what your weight is. If we match the skill levels, it's still going to be interesting to see the smaller guy come in and try to outwork the bigger guy. See if the big guy has the cardio and the heart to last into the deep rounds. So it always makes for some really, really cool stories.
Absolutely. And what do the rules look like for that tag team event? Out of curiosity.
I'm glad you brought up rules because rules is definitely the number one question right now. Now that the brackets are filled, we're getting closer to the day of the event. Everybody wants to be sure that they're training to the rule set, which is always extremely important. Tom DeBlas always preaches, no matter what competition, no matter where you're going, research and study the rules. So the big thing on the rules for this one is the blue belts. We're going to run uh, kind of like beginner style rule set. We're definitely going to be focused. The big main questions are heel hooks, knee bars, and twisting submissions. We want to make sure that the blue belts know, no heel hooks, no knee bars, no twisters or spine twisting submissions. Um, Other than that, the rules are posted on the website under the Zia page at the very bottom. You can check out any of the rules and let us know with any questions. We'll be happy to clarify. For the tag team, we're going to run advanced rules for tag team. So there will be heel hooks. We will be doing knee bars and twisters. Just about everything is legal. There are, the illegal techniques are listed on the website also, which is like no spiking, um, stuff like that. We want to be careful with scissor takedowns for people's knees, no smashing the trachea, stuff like that. That's all outlined there on the website, but we're going to go for advanced rules for the tag team and beginner rules for the blue belts.
Stellar. And what about the super fights?
Super fights are going to be great. We've got Jamie listening, and hopefully we'll be able to bring him on here in a little bit. Oh, Ruben's on too, and I would love to hear from Ruben. Um, But super fights, we've got Jamie coming in competing for us. He wasn't here the last time that we did this event. He's a purple belt from Zia. Really good guy, really great training partner, one of my favorites. And he'll be doing a super fight at 185 pounds with Rodzilla Promotions, Gabriel Rodriguez from El Paso. So we're really excited about that. Gabe is kind of coming off a hiatus from competing. So it's going to be great to see these two guys come in, and I'm sure they're going to put on a good show.
That is going to be a really fun one to watch. I'm personally excited because I have seen Jamie complete quite a few times, but I've never seen Gabriel. So that's going to be a fun one to watch.
Yeah, and Gabriel does a good job out there with promotions. We've gone to a lot of his stuff. I know you've shot for a lot of his stuff. So it's going to be great to have him come out here and participate and be on the other side of things. I'm sure it's going to be pretty fun for him and definitely fun for the fans. We have a couple more super fights also listed. I know Stephen Ginn, Scuba Steve from Zia, is in the tag team bracket with Manser, but he's also got a super fight with Isaiah Garcia, who's coming down from Albuquerque and trains at the War Room. So that's a 185-pound super fight that we're going to have on the card also. Steven and Scoob is always a very, very exciting match to watch. I call him the armbar king because, I would put his armbar highlights in competition up against just about anyone's.
The Armbar King. That is going to be a fun one.
Yeah, he recently had a match. He went up to Naga and won the absolute division. So it's going to be very, very good to see. But you know what? War Room is tough too, and Isaiah Garcia is coming down. I've seen them at all the comps up in Albuquerque, and they really bring some fire. So I'm excited. Isaiah is also going to be in the Blue Belt tournament. So he's going to be pulling double duty with a super fight, and he'll be in the Blue Belt tournament also.
Oh, that's going to be fun. It's cool. It's good. I think that both of them are competing twice. So you kind of have that like equalizer as well.
Yeah, and it's always good when you have single elimination. You know, a lot of people want to come in and get in at least a couple of matches. So we do have some people who are, pulling double duty. But either way, I'm sure it's going to be enjoyable. We got Billy Kills coming in, who's, a DJ out here in Las Cruces. He's one of my favorite DJs in town. And I'll tell you, he absolutely killed it when it came to the Rumble in September. Again, it was our first event. It was crazy hectic. We were trying to match all the entrance music, and Billy came in like a pro and really just made it that much more enjoyable. Because, having the commentary is one way to kind of, fill the dead air, but definitely like the music in between matches and the entrance music for participants is also, something that I love about these events.
Absolutely. And you know what? Every time I think about like walkouts, my favorite walkout will always be Stetson, who I believe is competing against one of the folks on this podcast right now.
Yes, absolutely. We got Goyo Greg Martinez. Um, he asked for a super fight with Stetson. Stetson's always willing to fight, and they're both in the blue belt tournament also. So there's a chance that they could meet up twice. But I didn't want to take any chances. I wanted to make sure we got to see Stetson and Goyo go at it, because this was another one that was supposed to happen in September, but because of timing issues didn't happen. So I'm glad we could get it done this time.
Me too. That one's gonna be again super fun one to watch. I have my like favorite matches up that I'm excited to see, and that's definitely like absolutely one of them.
Stetson had a great walkout, but one of our kids from the kids group, it's funny because my wife Jackie was taking registration, and she did a great job weighing everybody in and taking down the info, getting them to sign the waivers, and we hadn't included the song, so that was all done on the spot day of. And like, again, props to her and Billy for being complete pros there. But we everybody was like, just play whatever, play any random song, and then every single one of them came back like 5 minutes later, and they're like, you know what, I picked a song, because at first you think it's kind of silly, but then you're like, man, it's kind of cool.
For sure. And like huge shout out to Jackie, man. She is so wonderful. I remember day of, she was out there getting everything organized. It was hot and she's just absolutely killing it. So shout out to Jackie. Love that woman so much. She's wonderful. And yeah, music is one of those things where it gets people super pumped up. Especially again, those kiddos, man, it is so funny to watch them. Some of the song choices had me absolutely cracking up. I was like, I didn't know that y'all listen to stuff like this, but overall, so much
Yeah,
fun.
I was really surprised with the amount of really good rock music that came out of the kids selection. But like I was gonna say, my all time favorite has to be Kellen Smith coming in to the Magic School Bus, because that was epic.
Oh my goodness. No kidding. So speaking of kiddos, what do the kids matches look like this go round?
You know what? I wish I could say with some certainty, but Professor Justin from Grind and I are working to get the kids matches set. It's a little bit harder this time to get the kids matched up, but we do have Haley Aultrey, who's coming in, and she competed in the Rumble. She's a really tough competitor, gray belt, coming in at 80 pounds, and I'm pretty sure we're going to match her up with one of the kiddos from Grind Underground out there in El Paso. And her brother also has a super fight. So Matthew is coming in at 150 pounds. He's a white belt, 17 years old, and we're going to match him up with one of the Villalobos kids from out there in El Paso and 10 Planet. So that's going to be a good one also.
Awesome. Those two are genuinely some of the sweetest kiddos I've met. Haley holds a little special place in my heart. I love that girl so much. She is she's a little firecracker of a kiddo, and so I always love watching her matches.
Yeah, day one since she stepped on the mat, she has just been, so pleasing to work with. She brings a great energy, and that's one that I hope she's a lifer. I want to see her get her black belt one day.
Me too. The passion that girl has, man, is so cool to see. And I might just be a little biased because she is just the cutest thing. But I hope that she keeps going, and I hope she continues to compete because I could see greatness with her for
Oh
sure.
yeah, yeah, and we have some more super fight schedules. So as we get closer, we'll really round that one up. But the focus this time around was definitely the blue belt bracket. It was getting when I've told a few people when we first set this up and started talking about it after the last one, I was like, man, I'll cap it at 16. We might get 8 people. But props to all of the gyms out around town: El Paso, Las Cruces, New Mexico, our Santa Fe, Albuquerque. We have people coming from all those cities to compete, and I want to really just thank you guys for participating and coming out and giving this event a chance because it's going to be great.
Also, I think, first of all, seeing Zia bringing in all these people is super cool to see. I know that this has been brought up on this podcast a lot, but chit-chatting about New Mexico finally getting on the map as far as competitions go, it starts with things like this. It starts with gyms being willing to host and open their doors and say, all right, y'all, we want to bring competitors in. And also, special shout out to one of my incredibly good friends who's going to come down from Albuquerque to shoot some content for us. Half Dome Media, super sweet guy. His name is Aaron McDonald's, does amazing work. He's actually coming down because he really wanted to support Z as well. So super excited to have him come and do some work as well. He, again, does amazing photos, amazing short videos. So that's going to be fun as well.
Yes, you know what? I'm really excited too. Albuquerque and up north, I'm overwhelmed by the support that we've had and the amount of people that are willing to come down and participate or spectate. It's been amazing. Invictus has been great. We had Master Ken out down at the last event, which was just mind blowing for me. I love his stuff. His content is just hilarious.
I know. As a photographer, right, you're not supposed to fangirl, but I got him to go meet him, and I just stared for a second. I'm like, nah, yes, you are Master Ken. So I was absolutely thrilled. I've been watching him since I started doing karate at the ripe old age of like 8 years old. And so meeting him in person was the coolest thing. And I believe they might be coming down again if I'm
Yeah,
possibly.
well, Invictus has a tag team coming down, and I'm still trying to get some super fights matched up for a couple of their other teammates. But yeah, they were awesome. Clem came down and won the Rumble and did amazing. Super tough guy, great competitor. So, we've talked to some of their team, and they're looking forward to coming back. I'm hoping to get my son, who's 10 years old, matched up with one of their kids and replay the final from the last Naga in Rio Rancho because him and my son went 1-1. My son Isaac lost in gi and then won, or lost in no gi and then won in the gi. So I talked to them, and he's from Invictus also, and I was like, man, I would love to run that one back. So fingers crossed, hopefully trying to make that one happen.
That would be cool. That's one of the perks of living in a state where everyone knows everyone is you can do things like that. And it's fun because it brings a bunch of gyms like really close together, being able to have that like friendly rivalry going on.
Yes, exactly. And it's, you see the same people at competitions where you go to the Nagas, the grappling industries, all these competitions. And, you see the same people on the circuit that are coming up as you, same ranks. And it's awesome to have that kind of camaraderie between competitors. So it's great. I'd like to get into the Blue Belt tournament and kind of talk about the 16 people that we have signed up so far, because it's going to be very, very cool to kind of see how this plays out, and hopefully we get some exciting matches out of it.
Yes. So who do we have signed up right now? What are some of the names you can think of?
Oh man, so I got the list here in front of me. Hey Jamie, I turned on your mic, man, just so that you can kind of come in and help us weigh in on some of this stuff. I'm going to open your mic to Ruben because Ruben's actually in the tournament. He's won, so we'll start with him. Um, we got Ruben Luna, who's training at Zen Martial Arts, coming in at, oh, forgive me if I get this wrong, Ruben, about 150 pounds. And he's a blue belt out of Zen, and I'm very, very excited. Got to roll with him not too long ago, and I was just very impressed with his game. So very excited to see Ruben in the blue belt tournament.
I'm excited to see Ruben fight. He's a really powerful technical competitor. I mean, I've rolled with him, and I probably got about 40 pounds on him, and it was impressive. So I think whoever's going up against him's got his work cut out for him that day.
Yeah, absolutely. We also got so I haven't finalized the bracket yet, but I'm hoping to send it out first thing tomorrow. What I'm going to try to do is first round match up the weights as close as I can get them, so that way we give the lighter guys a good chance to fight through and hopefully make it to the finals on one side of the bracket. Um, so we already mentioned Stetson. So Stetson's coming in. I think he's still training at Control Violence Club out in Alamogordo. And so we got Stetson and Ruben. Goyo's on this show. I turned on the mic. If you're able to speak, we would love to hear from any of you guys. But of course, uh, one of Zia Martial Arts senior blue belts, Goyo Greg Martinez was the first participant, first entry. So I'm very excited to see him. He's been working hard, even though people give him a lot of slack for it.
That'll be another good fight to watch, and especially I'm actually really excited about his super fight with Stetson because it's another clash of styles and body types and what have you. You know, Goyo's got quite a bit of size on Stetson, but Stetson's a scrappy, tough dude, man. So that'll be another good one.
Oh, it's no problem, guys. We just got done with some training down here at Zen in El Paso. We're getting ready for that tournament. Me and my two other teammates, we're getting ready.
That's awesome to hear. And that's right. So we've got, let's see, Stephen Ojeda, right, who trains at Zen.
Yes.
He's coming in at around 200 pounds. And then the other guy from Zen, let's see. Oh, Morgan, right?
Yes, Taylor Morgan.
Taylor Morgan. Taylor Morgan, who's actually a white belt.
Yes.
Taylor Morgan, I'm excited to see that matchup. We've actually got one of our white belts in also, David Munoz, and they fought recently, or they fought previously at a Naga. So David is very much looking forward to seeing if we can run that one back. But the three guys from Zen, I think those are the three entries we have from Zen: Ruben, Steven, and Taylor. Very excited because we love Zen. You guys, man, you guys are always bringing the heat.
Oh, we're definitely excited down here. As soon as we heard that there was a blue belt tournament, I right away mentioned it. My teammate Steven Ojeda, Stevo, that's my best friend, that's my buddy, my pal. He opened his arms when I transferred to Zen, and we got on it. We started training, and then our buddy Taylor, who's one of our white belts, he's been putting in some work. He's putting in some work with our higher ranks. We're getting ready down here. We're excited, extremely excited. Amazing. It sounds like a cool format, open weight. I'm pretty sure I'm going in to be one of the smaller guys in the bracket, but I'm hoping to show these big boys what some little man jiu-jitsu's like.
Yeah. And so you said how long has it been that you've been training at Zen? Because you trained judo also for a really long time, right?
Yes. So Zen, I've been there a little bit over a year now. For a while, I was at Hayashi's Martial Arts. I got my black belt in judo underneath Sensei Hayashi and Sensei Mendoza, who coaches at Zen. I'm at Zen full time. I'm one of the kids coaches. Love this place. I love this. It's dojo. It's amazing. I'm just hoping to represent them well.
That's awesome, man. That's I'm glad to hear that. And I'd love to have you back on here sometimes and talk about maybe your transition from judo to jiu-jitsu, what that's been like. I'll tell you, we talked about Master Ken being there, but who I was most surprised and so grateful who that was there that day was Sensei Hayashi.
Oh yeah.
I was blown away. I didn't know he was coming. I don't think he had anybody in the bracket, but he showed up, man. And he was my first tournament that I ever went to was, my second tournament. First one was in Cali, but we've done so many of his tournaments, and I've loved him since I was a white belt. So, I was so happy to see him out there. Very appreciative that he would take the time to come out and support us. That meant a lot to me.
All the schools in the Southwest, we got to support each other. I'm speaking on my behalf. I don't speak for Zen. I don't speak for Sensei Hayashi, Sensei Mendoza. I don't speak for any of us, but I think it's important we support each other. We are starting to grow an amazing martial arts community, so we got to keep this going. Doesn't matter if it's judo, jiu-jitsu, MMA, whatever. We got to support each other, help each other out.
Oh yeah, 100%. And you, man, you dabble in just about everything. So I'm excited to see you. Like I said, I enjoyed our roll when I got to roll with you on Saturdays. So I'm really happy, and you're one of the lighter guys. We've got you, Stetson. We've also got about 165-pounder Alex Ayala, he used to train at Grind with Professor Justin, and he moved to Cruces, so now he's been training with us, and that's another one, man. To be honest, I don't think you guys are going to meet up first round, but that is a match I would love to see. Is you and Alex? That would be amazing. Small guy jiu-jitsu.
Small guy jiu-jitsu. I mean, yes, we don't got the power that these bigger boys do, but try to keep up with us. That's all I gotta say. We're scrappy. We're scrappy.
Yeah, and that's the beauty of this absolute setting is that, you know what, you see the big guy out there, and it's always impressive to see the guy who's, over 6 feet tall, or who's got the big weight. And we've got a 300-pounder in this bracket. So going from 165 pounds to almost double that 300-pounder out of 10th Planet El Paso, Steven Espinosa. So that's going to be a daunting task for anyone. I've been talking to him. He seems like a really good guy, and I'm excited to see, how everyone deals with the size differences and the style differences, because I'm sure we're going to get a ton of varying styles.
Oh yeah. I mean, not just body types, our different professors, coaches, everything. Everybody's got a different style, so it's gonna be an awesome way to like show off the styles of different body types. And since we're all at the blue belt level, I mean, it's pretty fair. Although, I mean, someone that's 300 pounds, they're double my weight. They can bench press me easily. So
Yes,
that'll
and
be fun.
and at blue belt, it's still kind of hard to deal with those size differences. I'm speaking personally. Like when I was a blue belt, I felt like I was really good with people around my weight or smaller, but I still struggled with the people who were real bigger than me, heavier than me, or who were very aggressive. And so you're still trying to figure those things out at blue belts.
Oh yeah, definitely. Even in judo, don't get me wrong. I mean, uh, I love judo and stuff like that. But you pair me up against a guy that's 300 pounds. Uh, Strength is the greatest equalizer. It
Yeah,
is.
yeah. Me and Jamie were just talking about that. Physics still matter.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And then there's freak athletes and stuff like that. Um, Athleticism, strength, all of that plays a part.
Yes, it's awesome. Katie, you got something to say?
I do. I always laugh with these conversations of like small versus big because it always reminds me of Rob and I rolling. Without fail, when Rob and I are on the mat together, we got to roll. And Rob is our resident judo expert and also large man. And if there's anything, it's just go straight to the back. That is every single time Rob and I roll. That's all I do because my walking weight is 105 right now, and Rob is a little bit bigger than that. So definitely feel you on the small man jiu-jitsu.
Oh yeah. I've talked to Rob a few times. Not too much. I talked to him at the last Rumble. Um, great guy. I didn't get to talk to him too much, but from what I heard, great guy. Knowledge of judo, he's great. Awesome guy. Katie, I've talked to you about like jiu-jitsu and stuff as well. I've ankle picked you before as well. That was kind of funny. Um,
Yeah, so fun fact, Ruben and I almost had a super fight at Zen because I went to shoot an open mat for them. And this man ankle picked me while I had my cameras in my hand. And I was like, you are so lucky I don't set something up with Mark. We're about to have a co-ed super fight. Embarrass you in front of all your
He's
teammates.
not joking. I can't believe you survived that, man.
oh, I'm sure she she came at me though. In my defense, she came at me. I was warming up for the open mat, and she comes up and starts kicking me. And as an
That does,
MMA fighter, I can't
yep.
I can't just take that.
That does sound like Katie, though. That I got to side with him there, Katie. You've come up and kicked me many times.
Unless there's video evidence, I'm gonna have to plead the fifth on this. Sorry. We also have Rob on the mic too.
Oh, yeah.
Just invited him to speak.
Yeah, Rob, who's also in the Blue Belt Bash. He is running back his super fight with Anthony, which we kind of touched on New Year's. Yeah, talk to us about that, man.
Hey guys, yeah, so I'm excited for my rematch super fight with Anthony. Little rivalry we have. We work together, just talk crap to each other all the time. Friendly rivalry, but I'm excited. Cause like Ruben was saying, me and Anthony, there's a huge weight advantage, disadvantage with him and me, because I'm bigger than him. But Anthony's fast and he is scrappy, and the moment Anthony takes my back, I know that's it. So I gotta focus on protecting my back. Um, Also, Ruben, when you do your podcast with Mark about the transition between judo and jiu-jitsu, I want to listen in because right now, so I'm still training jiu-jitsu with Coach Mark and Professor Spencer, but I'm also starting. I also started going to Legacy Martial Arts with Sensei Oscar, and he's gonna help me get ready so I can test for my Nidan, my second degree. So I want to poke your brain on advice from you from. There's just a huge difference with jiu-jitsu and bringing them down and holding them down, where judo is like, I completely forgot, judo's very, very smooth and you control where your opponent goes. And yeah, that's what I would like to pick your brain about.
Definitely, Rob. Whenever you want, pick my brain. I'm always up for it. Both of us, we're both Shodan, so I mean, we can help each other out. Congratulations on going for your Nidan. For those of you that don't
Thank you.
know, Nidan is actually your second degree black belt in judo. Your Shodan is your first degree, the one that you get once you become black belt. I got mine 2 years ago. I was 4 years as a brown belt. I got my brown belt my sophomore year of high school. Into my sophomore year of college, that's when I got my Shodan, my black belt. So definitely, we can talk some judo. We can. I want to have like a joint judo class eventually one day. All the jiu-jitsu guys have open mats. I mean, it'd be cool if we could expose some judo a little bit more.
Yeah, I'm down for that. And my biggest thing right now, so I was 19 when I got my black belt in judo. Now I'm 33, and it was like 13 years since I did my first judo class. And oh man, I'm sore from getting thrown, and I completely forgot how point you have to be with kata, because that's that's a lot.
Oh yeah, I get it. I get it.
Hey, and Ruben, I really appreciate the translation for us Japanese impaired.
No, I'm just trying to help out however I can. I'm trying to spread the word. Judo, jiu-jitsu, they're sister arts. You gotta do both. Just like you gotta do a
Mhm.
little bit of wrestling as well.
Mhm.
Amen.
I would love to see if y'all ended up going against each other in this blue belt bracket. That is something that I would be quite excited to see.
That'd be cool. Oh, and then also like quick funny story about when Katie and I roll. One of the funniest things I'm always gonna remember is Katie got me in a rear naked choke, and I was just laughing. I'm like, "Oh, Katie, that's just so cute. You have me in a rear naked choke," and she's squeezing with all her might. I'm just like, "Oh," in my head, I'm, "Oh man, this is so funny." The next thing I know, like things start getting blurry, and I'm like, "Oh shit, she has it in."
You can't blink, man. She's quick with it. I regret.
She is.
There's so much stuff I regret teaching Katie.
Those thin arms are like a garrote. I've fallen victim to myself.
Can I quote that? I'm gonna tweet
It's
that.
true. I mean, like it seems the best type of rear naked to defend is somebody who has like just normal average size arms, like my arms, Mark's arms. But you got like a thin, small person who has those little Grover arms like you do. They're going to get in there. Or what's worse is some big, huge arms that like they don't even have to get under your neck. They're just going to start dislocating your jaw.
I tried not to crank like that, but there is occasions where I'm like, we're just gonna go
Do
for
it.
it. But speaking of
You got to play
judo,
to your strengths.
Jamie, you actually just got promoted,
Yeah,
right?
not too long ago. Yeah, I picked up my green belt in judo from Rob. Actually, I've been training with Rob, and actually, he really reinvigorated my desire to learn judo. I'm not terribly good at it. I'm pretty slow on coordination and timing. So like I more play like a top heavy game in jiu-jitsu because of that. But I really enjoy it and I like it. And part of what I like about it is difficult and it is a challenge. So when you finally get one of the throws halfway down right, you feel like you've actually accomplished something.
I want to point out, just for the record, that Jamie is being quite humble right now. I was definitely bullying him yesterday, and before I even knew what was happening, I was on the
Well,
floor
I do have like
because that man hip
I
tossed
do
me.
have about 80 pounds on you, so that did help.
So
Take my class, Katie, and then you'll learn how to throw all of us.
Deal. Done.
all right, so let's get back into the Blue Belt Bash tournament because I do want to highlight a couple more teams. We talked about the Zen team. We've got 3 people from Zen in the tournament, which again we're going to try to spread out so that you guys aren't fighting each other. And that's always, as if it gets to later on, then you've definitely earned it. But we don't want that to happen in the first round. Um, but we talked about Goyo in there, Stetson, Ruben, uh, our guy Alex, who's got a great handlebar mustache, by the way. And then Anthony Leon also in there. He's going to be tough to beat. Um, on the other side, I think we're going to have the heavier bracket. And so, like I said, we've got a 300-pounder coming in from 10th Planet El Paso in Steven Espinosa. But there's a lot of other big guys. Taylor Morgan, who's also on the Zen team, is coming in at 243. David Munoz is right around 240 pounds. We've got Keith Tracy, who's a white belt, and all those guys, David, Keith, and Taylor, are all white belts. But man, they're definitely not to be taken lightly because Keith is coming in at 230, so they're all around that 230, 240 mark.
Not to be taken
Yeah, you like
lightly.
that, right?
I did. That was so good. And that's going to be really cool to see. I think Keith has a really cool style he's been creating. And I know he's been working a ton of cardio with Spencer. So he's one of those that's kind of like, he's a bigger guy, but his cardio is really good. So that's going to be a fun one to watch.
Yeah, with people that big, your game has to be very sharp. You have to be able to capitalize on mistakes that, if you're going against a white belt who's got strength or got weight or size on you, you're going to have to be on your A game to beat these people. So that's the heavier side of the bracket. But then we've got 2 Gracie Baja competitors, Isaiah Padilla, which is awesome because that's my oldest son's middle name is Isaiah, and we have the same last name. So that was a nice coincidence. But we got Isaiah Padilla coming in from Gracie Baja Santa Fe, and then what's this guy? William Boxman is the GB Crucis representative, which I'm always happy to have some of those guys in. We had a few in on the last one also.
Awesome. And it's good to see people from Santa Fe coming down. That's super exciting.
Yeah, so the cities that are represented that are going to be represented at this event: El Paso, Las Cruces, Alamogordo, Albuquerque, Santa Fe. We've got GB Crucis in Santa Fe, 10th Planet El Paso, Grind, Zen, obviously us, uh, Alamo Combat Sports Club's coming down. And then I think the other 2 people that we didn't mention is are again two standouts that you're going to want to watch. It's AJ Hodgkins and Mansur Elijah. So I'm very excited to see how the heavier side of the bracket turns out.
That's going to be a fun one. I would love to see those 2 go head to head. I have been following along with AJ. I've done some photos for him, and he's got a really interesting style going on. And I think that with those, like, seeing him on the mat is going to be great. And then with Mansur, he is just such a solid competitor just to watch. I know he has been all over the United States competing, so that's going to be a fun one too.
Yes, both of those guys are coming in right around 200 pounds, a little bit over 200 pounds, which seems to be the norm. So we've got about 4 people coming in at about 150 pounds. We've got about 4 people that are coming in over 240 pounds, but the rest of the people are coming in right around that 200-pound mark.
I mean, it's cool to see the bracket kind of like evening itself out a little bit. And again, I think that's a solid weight where it's not too huge of a difference where it's going to be, this obvious crazy size advantage. So excited to see that. Excited to hear it.
Yeah, a ton of great competitors. Blue belt is it's an amazing rank to be at. As far as discovering yourself, taking risks, learning more about your style. So I'm super excited to see what comes out of this, the matches that we see. A 16-person division. You could go to any of the regional competitions and not. You could go to any of the regional competitions and not get that big a bracket, even for an absolute.
Right. I was so surprised, man, when we were chit-chatting about like what all was going on. Um, you had told me 16 people, and I was like, dang, 16 people in one bracket. I think it's gonna be great. And it's again great that it's, single elimination. But I think that everyone's gonna get for sure their due match time.
Yeah, it's going to be great. It's going to be just about 50. I think it's going to be about 15 matches just to get through the blue belt tournament. And then we've got, 3 tag teams coming in, some great exhibitions set up with kids and adults. It's a very, very packed card. So spectators will definitely get their money's worth. Participants hopefully are going to enjoy themselves. Their family and friends are going to be able to come out and see them compete. So that's what we're aiming for, is a great time for everyone all around.
I know that I heard nothing but great things about this last event that was put on, and so I feel the same. I think it's going to be a really good one. I think that blue belts are one of those fun things to watch because again, like you're not feeling super stressed out because you're a black belt and it's supposed to be this crazy high level thing. You're just there to have fun, and I think that makes for a great entertaining evening.
Absolutely. You guys have been amazing. We're right around the 1 hour mark. So, I don't have a hard out. If anybody wants to open up the mic, share a story, ask something, make a comment, feel free. You guys, the mics are open. Katie is always wonderful on the mat and off the mat, and always keeping me on task. So, once again, thank you for that.
Appreciate that. And I'm super excited. Again, this is going to be a great event. So excited to have such a great friend of mine coming down to shoot as well. It's gonna be an awesome time. Uh, Rob, I was gonna ask you, I was like, do you think that you might have some judo throws going on the mat? That is something that I have always wanted to photograph, is you like landing a judo throw. Could you see this happening?
Yeah, I can do that. Uh,
Deal. Done. I got your word. I'm not gonna forget it.
yeah, Jamie's gonna have to be my uke for this, but I can. And Uke is your training partner or the person you're throwing. So Jamie's gonna have to be my Uke because he's my height, but I can get some good throws, and if he gets, just let me know when.
No problem.
And kudos to Jamie for always being, down for anything, man. Jamie's always ready to train, teach, do anything, be thrown, get choked.
It's
Uh,
always a good time, and the thing that makes it is like I got good training partners with you guys. I mean, I'm not apprehensive about doing stuff with you guys because you train smart and you're respectful training partners.
that's awesome. Ruben, what's up, man? Do you have something to say?
All I want to say is Rob already said it. I better see some throws. I want to see some big boy throws.
Dude, that's what we paid to see, man. Judo is when it's pulled off, when it's done well, is a beautiful, beautiful art. And I don't practice much, those of you who train at Zia know I love judo. I talk a lot of shit about it, but deep down, it's beautiful, beautiful art. And I respect all of you guys who go through that because you're fucking crazy.
It'd be nice to see you hit somebody with the earth at the tournament, Rob.
I can try.
Yeah.
So I'm coming back to competition in February at the Naga. I've been out of competition for over a year, and I'm in the middle of a really really bad knee injury. So if any of my opponents in my bracket are listening to this, I'm gonna give them a huge tell. But my goal is I'm only doing the gi tournament. I'm doing gi at 170 purple belt, and my goal is to land a judo throw. So that's all I want to go out there and do. Obviously, I want to go out there and compete hard and win, But my goal is to hit somebody with the earth at this next competition, which might be one of my last at Purple. Ruben, you said you teach kids class, right?
Yes, sir. So I used to be a manager at a business down here in El Paso, and luckily for me, my buddy, my pal, Coach Mondo. I mean, you guys know Coach Mondo. He saved me, and I became a full-time coach. I help out with all the kids' classes, a little bit of everything, some judo, some jiu-jitsu, a little bit of boxing and MMA as well. Um, I'm mainly doing this because I want my kiddos to know that, like, hey, it's not just you that has to compete. I do it too, and I don't want you to be afraid because everybody gets nervous and we all compete and it happens. So I want to do this for them.
That's awesome, man. Well, I'm looking forward to seeing you guys all out there. Jamie, Rob, Greg, Ruben. It's going to be great. Katie, you're going to be out there doing your thing. My wife Jackie jumped on. She's going to be out there doing her thing. It's just awesome that everybody can come together and really just have a great time. So it's great. Katie, once more, thank you so much. If you want to sign us off, I have loved every minute of this conversation, and thank you guys so much for stopping in.
Absolutely, all. Thank you so much for hopping on today. Thank you, Rob. Thank you, Ruben. Thank you, Jamie. We always appreciate your input. We are so excited to see y'all on the 28th. It's going to be a good time. Again, great venue, great drinks, great food, and it's going to be absolutely a great show. So looking forward to seeing y'all soon, and have a good night.